Hello. You have to move so they know that you're alive.
I'm alive.
Hi, everyone. It's Stephanie and
Dawn.
And we're here live on both Instagram and on Facebook today to talk and chat with all of you. So if you're here, please give us some hearts or say hello. Click that share button with your friends so that we can get in touch with lots of different people out there. So we're just going to wait for a few people to jump on. So we're going to chat. Hi, Dawn. How was your weekend?
I don't remember.
It's Tuesday, so on the weekend, you got to hang out with a bunch of ex-athletes and their babies.
Right, on Saturday. Was Saturday?
That was Saturday.
Yeah, we went to one of our ex-athletes' houses, and 3 others joined, and there was, 9 kids and 6 adults, 6 adults, 9 kids. That was fun.
It was fun seeing all the little babies. So one of the reasons I started Lazy Parenting was to try and share some of the information that I have learned over the past 17 years of being a parent and being pregnant with babies, and share them with people. And it was interesting. I wrote a post yesterday about forced family time. Did you read the post?
Yeah, I did. I did, actually.
Good. So we're going to talk about that a little bit today. But one of the things that came up, which is another future post that I'm going to write about, is this idea. I see lots of women who are talking about creating a community or a village for mothers, and that's missing. It even came up on Saturday at our event about one of the moms there talking about how she didn't really feel that there was like a place for her as a family to go and meet other families, because one of the hard parts about having a new baby is sometimes you feel disconnected from your friends, especially if you're the only mom.
You're the first.
Right, the new mom, or even if you're just at different stages, right? Because mothers tend to congregate around other people who have babies the same age as them because their kids can play. It makes sense, all of that. But what I was thinking about is one of my posts, I had a grandma, who she's now a grandma, her children just had her first baby, make a comment on one of my posts about the forced family time and about going on vacations. And it made me think back to when I was teaching, the benefit that I had, because I had no friends that had babies my age at all, was the multi-generational community and how important that was for me in learning about parenting and about how to get through that time. So like there were women whose children were grown. There was we had quilting nights, and we had we would go out to a show or something like that. But there were women of different ages, and it was from them that I was learning and I got advice because they had been through it.
Right.
Instead of getting advice from people who are going through it. And what I found when I went to the mom and baby groups was it was all negative, or it was competitive.
I was going to say that I hate it. The reason I didn't want to hang out with other moms that are new my age was the whole, well, my baby's sitting up right now. She's only 2 months old or whatever. And I didn't want to deal with that competitiveness.
Right. And I don't know if any other new moms out there feel that way too. I mean, it's already stressful enough having a baby, and then to find out oh, well, her baby's sleeping through the night and my baby's up every 10 minutes, or her baby's sitting up already or is already on solids, or oh, well, she goes out all the time because her baby, she pumps and it's not a problem and takes a bottle and it's easy. And here you are feeling less than because none of that is working for you and your mom. Versus I think for me, part of it was I had older mom friends whose babies had been through it. And so it just wasn't as big a deal. There wasn't any of that competition. And then it was you'll get through it, Right.
Because your first time mom friends are going to be, are probably more of the ones that are this way. And maybe not even meaning to sound like they're trying to be upping you and your baby. But it happens where I feel now that my kids are, almost 12, 9, and 6, looking back, I can see that. None
of those things are important.
They all catch up at some point.
Right. Yes. And so I think that would be my advice in regards to finding a tribe of women or a community, whether it's families, because dads need help as well and support, but finding a group of people who have all kinds of all kinds of experience and advice because they've already walked through it. And so I think I know that part of my vision for Lazy Parenting is to create a community of women of varying different ages and varying different experience. So there are some women in here who are grandmas for the first time. So they've already raised their children. They have been through it. And yes, things are a little bit different with technology, but it's the same. It still is just the same argument that comes back. So it's a little bit different because it's like a phone and a TV, or phone and an iPad. But those same arguments came around video games and TVs and watching. How much TV did I watch after school, right? Or on Saturday mornings with cartoons.
Oh,
and so now our children are just watching those same or different things, but on an iPad. Like a lot of the same issues. Yeah. When I was on my phone until 3 a.m. at night, when I got to have a telephone in my room, I had my own phone line. So yes, the issues are different, but they're not really. Like, we as parents have been dealing with all of these things from the beginning of time. Yeah. Right? Kids wanting to go out and like all of these things. Independence is independence. And teenagers asserting their independence is still just teenagers asserting their independence, regardless of how that works. Right. What the devices. Right. Yeah. And so that was, I thought that was interesting. And so I like that idea so I encourage you to find other women who have a different perspective on things, because either they've been there and done it, or they've walked that walk already. As well as I know that there is some value in being around other people going through the same thing that you're going through. I just caution you that if it's negative or if it's feeling competitive, that maybe not be the best circle for you, because that's just going to cause you more stress. It's kind of like that whole Instagram thing, right? Depression is severely linked to Instagram, because everybody goes onto Instagram and sees all of these amazing things, and then they feel less about themselves, or they feel stressed about what they're going through, because what you see online isn't real. Right. Right? Yes. Which is also something I want to try and show, right? Is the reality of things.
Yeah, I only follow people that are struggling.
They're showing up
they're showing their true selves, not the fakeness of it all.
Right. So,
except for even I follow a few people like Chrissy Teigen.
Well, that's why she's so her Instagram following is so large, right? Right. She's funny and she shows real life. Right. So in regards to my post that I wrote yesterday about forced family time, did you get any takeaways from it? Or did it not really resonate with you?
No, I just, it's hard in the summer for me, because I feel like every day is forced family time, because I'm with them 24 hours a day almost. Right. So, yeah. So right now I'm looking forward to school starting, to be honest. Yeah. Just so that the two younger ones don't fight. I mean, my older daughter, or my only daughter, she's away at camp this week. So there's definitely a different dynamic in the house, even with just one gone. But yeah. But when we're in their busy period, then yes, we don't do enough of that. Like, because we're always working on the house, my husband is, or I'm here every weekend at the gym. So yeah, it's a good idea. I thought about it. We'll see where it goes.
Right. And so talking about family time, there's a part of that in regards to the house, but then there's also a part of it in regards to getting out of the house and going and doing things together as a family. So going to the park. Yeah. Time when your spouse is home and they all can go and do something together. So I have 3 little things that have worked in my family in regards to forcing family time, which, looking back on it, were just rules that I instilled in the house for some reason or another, but that I find now have actually have benefited the family and benefited the relationship. And yes, of course, when you spend time together, they're going to fight and bicker and all of that sort of stuff. But there are moments of what you're trying, like what I love to see. And so 3 things that I've done in my house, which is what I was going to talk about today, to help with keeping connected, and whether or not it's forced family time or you want to think about it as forced connection, like them having to spend time with you or be around you or be around each other. And so the number one thing is I only have one TV in my house. And so if anybody wants to watch TV, we all have to agree. Because there's only one TV. I mean, there is a second TV in our bedroom, but it never gets turned on and it never gets used. The last TV we had that we didn't throw out. So it doesn't ever get watched. So we really have one TV, and it's in the family room downstairs in a central part of the house. And that's where if you want to watch TV or play video games, because the only TV that the video games are hooked up to as well. So the kids can't be off on a video game console. I mean, yes, they could be on their phones as they get older. But it is really just one TV, so we all have to agree on the TV, and that way we all have to watch the same show.
Yeah.
So I don't watch, as parents, we don't watch any inappropriate shows while the kids are awake, or really at all. Like, it has to be. It does also force us to kick the kids out of the room at some time, so that mom and dad can have some alone time in the TV, which they also have to respect and understand. That's also another bonus. We'll say, well, like, especially because we have teenagers, it's like, nope, you need to go. Like, we're going to watch a show together. It's not a show for you. It's mom and dad time. So get out. Yeah. And then we kick them out.
We also only have one TV, and ours is our living space is upstairs, but we have a basement with a TV room, I guess. And we've done that purposely. We have not purchased a second TV because I'm worried about the fact that then every person will be in their own space and will never be in a space together.
In my house growing up, we had, well, not my first house when we were little, but when we were older, there was, and my parents were pretty addicted to or my mom liked to watch TV shows for sure. There was a TV in the kitchen. There was a TV in the den. There was a TV in the living room. There was a TV in their bedroom. So that was like 4 TVs for 3 of us in the house. Like, there was one in every room.
That's crazy. So she can watch it at whatever point she's doing.
Yeah. And so I think maybe that's part of the reason why I don't watch TV while I'm in the kitchen. I don't know. Like, it's just different. I do enjoy my TV, and I do enjoy some TV shows a lot. But that was one of the things we did in order to force family time. There's one TV. We all have to agree. Yeah. It seems to work for us. So that's number 1. Number 2, which is a big one for me, and it was a rule that I instilled early on, and that is in regards to phones and iPads and technology in the house. I have a room, no technology anywhere except downstairs. So no phones are allowed. So first of all, my children didn't get a phone, and I have 2 that have phones and 2 that don't. They don't get a phone until sometime during grade 8. So I never got them. They don't have a phone until then, and because 2 of them have had to go through that rule, I'm assuming the other 2 will have to go through that rule. Otherwise, it won't be fair. Yeah. And so it's kind of like halfway through grade 8 is when I've gotten them a phone. And that's a phone that I paid for. I mean, the phone is their birthday present. So it's kind of like their birthday of their grade 8 year is when they get their phone. And that's their present. And I will pay for the data and stuff on it. But therefore, actually, only one of them has data. My second son still doesn't have data.
That's a good call.
He only has a Wi-Fi phone, so I can't actually call him on it. I can only iMessage him. So it's like a glorified iPod, actually. I should probably get him. If you're watching, Nick, I should probably get you a data plan at some point so I can call him. Yeah. Because there have been points when, although there's so much Wi-Fi around that more often than not, I can get in touch with him. But I'll probably figure that out. But as long as I'm paying for it, I have full control over the phone. So I have their password, or they're not allowed to change their password, and I can go onto that phone at any point and do a check on what apps they have and what conversations they're having, what iMessages they're doing, what Instagram DMs are going on, all of that kind of stuff. So I encourage you to do that as well, because if you're paying for it, I feel like privacy doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like as it's easier to sell that point when you are paying for it. Like if they're paying for it themselves.
Oh yeah, well,
but they're still a kid and stuff.
They're not going to get a job though, probably to be able to afford a phone until they're probably around 16,
30,
maybe 15 or 16, probably, right? Yeah, you have to be. So no phones in the bedroom at all, ever, never, ever, ever. Right? Their phones are plugged in downstairs overnight. I learned this lesson, I think, as a teacher. I had a student, a cheerleader actually, who was super stressed out, was suffering through some depression, I would say, couldn't get her homework done on time, couldn't handle life in like I think she was about grade 11, 12 when I started working with her. And she would come and see me after school to my classroom, and we'd sit and we would like break down what homework she needed to get done, what was coming up. And I started to help her with some life skills about how to handle life and get through all of that. And one of the ones was she was on her phone until 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and just the dinging of the alerts or the...
It's like a compulsive, right? So you can't just not see who dinged you.
Right. And so just that whole thing. So I just don't allow it. And I know different parents might have different opinions, but I really think that no phones in the bedroom or no iPads, no technology, no TVs. Like,
I thought they would never sleep.
I didn't.
Right.
So again, one of my other future blog posts is that I believe one of the things that has made me make decisions that I've made, well, I know for a fact, is my own experience. Mm-hmm. So we all have different experiences. We all have different, growing up as teenagers, we all remember it differently. We all participated in different things in regards to our own, going to parties or drinking or all of that kind of stuff. So for me, I knew that I was on the phone. Like, I would fall asleep on the phone.
Oh, yes.
With my boyfriend.
Right?
Yeah. In bed. And so for sure I was sleep deprived, and that probably didn't make me a very nice teenager and probably made me pretty grumpy.
Right.
And so I don't allow that to happen in my house. So that's number 2, no technology in the room. But I take it further. I say no technology in the room ever. So like, you're not allowed to go into your phone, because again, I think I would never see my kids. Like, yeah. If they were playing video games on their phone in their bedroom or on the Switch in their bedroom, they would never come out of their bedroom. And then I would never get to see them. And then they'd come out only to ask for food or ask for like to do things. And then they would be grumpy, and I wouldn't have any concept of how long they were on their phone. At least now, I'm not saying my kids are never on their phone. They're on their phone a lot. But at least I know, like I can see the kid sitting on the couch for 2 hours playing a video game. And so I can suggest we go for a walk, or we can get out of the house, or they can do some chores or whatever needs to get done. So that was number 2. So I highly recommend that. No technology in their bedrooms.
Yeah.
My kids don't have phones. You're not old enough yet.
We don't have iPads, not anymore.
You took them away?
Well,
that's new.
One broke.
Okay.
And the other one has broken as well. They both got.
They are broken, or are you pretending they're broken?
One is for sure broke.
Or are you just telling the kids that they're broken?
No, one is for sure broke, and the other one doesn't work that well because, the kids didn't break it. It just, So they don't have iPads anymore.
Oh.
No. So we don't.
Are they going through withdrawal?
They were for a while. And then Nate this morning was like, "Mommy, can you just buy me a new iPad?" This has been on for at least 3 or 4 months.
Oh, okay.
And so Riley uses my computer because she does Google Hangouts with her friends.
Okay.
Because some of them have phones, but she doesn't have a phone. So I said, well, why don't you get them on Google Hangouts? And then her account is open on my computer, so I can then go through everything that she's spoken to them about, because I can open them up. And then they just they don't play games anymore. They played on the TV. So it's much less now, for sure.
And is it making a difference, do you think, or no?
Oh, yes. Not having the iPad has made a huge difference. And just Nate was obsessed. He literally, they would both, him and Thomas would fight to wake up who wakes up first so that they could get on the iPads, even though I had to. And so now it's not the same playing the video games on the TV as it was holding it in their hand and just being able to like walk out of their room into the kitchen and grab it.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not as grumpy. Like there was some serious anger issues going on because of the iPads. And so we chose to take them away.
Tons of studies out there that are talking about the use of technology and children's behavior.
Oh, it's totally linked. I was starting to, like, it was affecting our family's relationship. So I was like, we have to get rid of these.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's too much.
I'm excited for you. Great. Okay, and then number 3, my last one. So first one was only one TV. 2 was no technology in their bedrooms. And number 3 is outings, making them go out with you. And so this is something we've done from a young age, from when the kids were little, which is large in part because my husband is a walker and can't sit still. And so he will take the kids out for a walk. And even at a young age, he did this. He would take one kid, go for a walk, come home, pick up the next kid, go for a walk. And that was one way of getting one-on-one time with each of the kids. Like and as they got older, it might have been a run. Yeah. Like, let's go for a run. And they would do a little 3K run or a 5K run. Now they're older, so they do like 8 to 10K runs. Or we go for walks, or all of us will go for a walk out of the house. That's the minimum. So that's like little outings, right? Yeah. But at least it's walking. all of the research that talks about how do you talk to your boys, how do you have conversations with boys, says that you should be side by side like this, and just engaging in conversations. And so one way, I know a lot of moms who use their time driving to engage in conversations with their boys about various topics and about their life and about things like that. The other one is going for a walk, because again, you're not making eye contact, and a lot of the studies have shown that, and a lot of the things that I have read talk about that's how you engage with your boys in conversations, or girls too, but this was all about raising boys. So that's like little outings. The other one is forced outings. Like we will, if we're off, like right now is summertime. So if my husband is off and I am off, we will go out. Like, and it's not big. Like I'm talking like we'll just drive to a park and walk through a park. On Sunday, we went to the treetops at UBC, if you're local in Vancouver, and did that. It was a Groupon. It was $20 for the 6 of us.
Oh, that's a good price.
Yeah, super cheap outing. You go, and we always do the same thing. We walk over, we walk through the vegetable garden and look around, and we go over to this other place, and then we come back, and we go on the treetop walk, and we jump, and we break the rules, and we have fun, and what I have found always happens is that my kids kind of pair off and they end up having conversations.
Right.
And I try not to listen in to their conversations, but I can just hear them. And they're having really great conversations about life and they're learning how to have conversations. They're sharing their life with their siblings in a fun, happy way. And then, yes, of course, they argue and they like end up hitting each other at some point. But that's all part of it, like learning how to get through those situations and handle it. And then, so that's the third thing, is forced outings with your children.
Yeah. Forced outings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, doing that, as we've done that from a young age. And that has, I think, developed a, what's it called? Like a, I don't know what the word is, an understanding, or no, a like, that they like to hang out with us and each other.
Well, and I think that also helps develop their relationships that they move forward, right? Because like my husband and his brother, my husband is the youngest of 3. He has a brother that's 5 years older and a sister that's 7 years older than him. And sure, as kids, they may not have gotten along so well because the 5-year difference between him and his brother is quite big at that age. But they're best friends. And I hope my boys are as good as friends when they get older as my husband and his brother. And so the more that they learn, it's not always fighting between them in the younger
years. Are you talking
years.
about that when they were younger, they spent lots of time together, the boys? The Jeremy and his brother?
Yeah.
And so,
And so I think that helped foster that, and they're now best friends as adults. And so, they have to hang out together and then realize that there are moments that they're just not always fighting, that they do like each other, and they're given that opportunity on these outings. At home, I find that it's not the same. At home, there's not as much room, so they're closer together. They both want to play with the same toys, or being out, I find they are nicer to each other for sure.
And so a lot of our vacations that we take are hiking vacations. Like we'll go somewhere and we'll take lots of walks, and we'll go on lots of walks, and not all of them are fun walks, and then some of them are long, and we've done some different ones, but again, overcoming all of those issues while you're out and about. And then I'm a big believer in brainwashing your children from a young age. And so brainwashing them in the sense that I constantly tell them how Kennedys behave and how we treat each other and what it's like to be a Kennedy and all of that. And so they come to own all of that as the more we talk about it. And so those are conversations we can have while we're out and about, because what else are you going to talk about while you're out on an hour-long walk? Right,
which is different than spending it at the movies where you don't speak.
Right. Now, there is value in that too, though. Yeah. So there is value as your kids get older. I'm finding it now as I have teenagers, is time just spent with each other. So I spent a lot of time with Elizabeth this weekend. We went to a movie together. We went to see her basketball game. We went for dinner. Even just being in close proximity. Yeah. I have a couple other moms that mentioned that it was so nice now that they have a teenager. They went to the local pool and they just laid down side by side. They didn't really talk. They just were in each other's space. So can you just enjoy someone's company? And that's a life skill too, right? That you don't have to feel the need to always talk or converse, that you can just enjoy being around them as well. And so that's the other piece. So those are my 3 pieces of advice based on forced family time and how I did that in my family. I think the technology piece is the big one there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's all I got for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed our video, please like and share so that other people can see it too. I really do want to create a community of women of different ages that are all coming together to learn from each other and share their advice with each other. So yeah, that's it. Okay. That's all.
Bye.